What's up, everybody? It's your girl Barbie J here with a recap and review of Tyler Perry's White House drama, The Oval, Season 6, Episode 9, Between Two Fires. I gotta tell you, I don't know what the two fires are. What's the two fires? Is that the whole White House drama thing with Eli and Hunter? Is that the two fires? I don't know. Somebody put down in the comment section what they think it is. Anyway, before we get started, please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Subscribe to this channel, like the video, write a comment and join the conversation, and share because what? Sharing is caring, and you want to help the sister's channel grow. Anywho, this episode starts off with Donald getting caught having sex in the Oval with Kyle. And who sees it but Sam, Simone, and Eli? Eli tells Sam to go get him a suit. Simone is running off with the mouth, yippity, yappity, yippity, yappity. Eli has to tell her to shut the heck up. He told Kyle to get out and for Donald to stay. Simone finally left after asking Donald, does his wife know about it? She thinking she got some information that his wife don't know about. I don't like Simone, y'all. I'm just putting it out there. Anywho, she goes to get housekeeping to clean the desk off, and he says thanks. Eli don't care about none of that he just saw because he said they're in the middle of a crisis that takes priority. And then he thanks Donald because he heard that he's the one who found them hanging. So he asked Donald for an update on the crisis, and Donald gave it to him. Next, we have this scene with Dale and Sharon in Barry's bedroom, and he's asking her, is she okay? Because she had a nightmare, sound like, and she's like fine, and talking about how mean Miss Nancy had been to her. And he's like, well, she's going through a lot. Her son died. Her husband wanted a divorce. She said, no, he doesn't mean that. Sharon, you sound stupid. Yes, Mr. Richard does mean that, okay? And Dale is like, you don't know. And then they hear some crashing sound. They run downstairs. Nancy is tearing up the place. She's feeling bad about her life, and she starts sharing what happened between her and Clarence, which is Richard's father, and how she wanted to stop it, but she fell in love with him, and now she broke her husband's heart, and she done made a mess of her life, and how people like Sharon had her up on a pedestal, so she had to behave this way and be this good woman that she wasn't, and it's their fault. Nancy was bugging out. That's all I got to say about that. Next, we see Simone. She goes to Donald's office looking for Lily, and Alan said she left. And she's like, are you sure? He said, yes. Can you check? You know, she being a piece of work. And he said, well, she's down at security now or something like that. So Simone hurry up down there because she want to talk with Lily. She thinks she got some information to tell her, and Lily ain't trying to hear her mess. Lily gets stopped by Agent Kane. That's the only reason she wasn't out the door already, because he said she got to sign out, and she said, I need you to get me a car. So he's like, okay. So when Simone got to security, Lily wasn't keen on going with her at first. But when Kyle came in there and tried to be forceful and grab her, and Simone put Kyle in his place, Lily was like, oh, okay, I'll gladly go with you to hear everything you have to tell me. And Kyle did not like that. So they go down the hall and pass Max and Bobby. And they go into, I guess, one of the conference rooms. And Max is asking Bobby, what's that all about? He's like, I don't know. But that's two people that he had sex with. You know what I mean? Passing him. So anyway, I'm not going to get into all the detail, but they get into the conference room, and she's letting Lily know about Donald. And Lily asked her, before we could get to this, she was like, how many have you been sleeping with Bobby? And she said, no, I've never slept with him. She said, yes, you have. You're lying. You keep lying. You're still lying. You know what I mean? And then when she's telling her about Donald, Lily goes back and tells her about her husband, Eli, sleeping with Victoria. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, you're still lying. You're still lying. You're still lying. And I'm trying to understand why Simone keeps lying and why Simone care about what's Lily's end game and about her being trapped. And Lily's like, who are you to judge me? So Lily put Simone in check a little bit, and Simone tried to backtrack a little bit and say that she's not judging her and all this stuff, but she was. And if I was Lily, I wouldn't even gave her the time of day, since I knew she was a liar. She's lying to you all the whole time. Because Lily let her know, my husband gets all the tea, so I know what's going on. So the last thing Simone asked her for the third time, again, what is your end game? And she said, to kill him before he kills me. I said, that's right, put her on notice, because I'll kill you next. I don't know. But anyway, Lily goes out of the room and she walks down the hall and she confronts Bobby saying, I know you like her. He said, which one you like more? Is it Priscilla, Simone, or is it someone else? And Bobby said, perhaps you should go to your car, ma'am. And she said, oh, so you just going to abandon me like that? He said, you made your choice. She said, it's not like you would have stayed anyway. He said, you don't know that, Lily. She said, I know. He said, now you'll never know. So Max tried to grab onto her arm. She's like, don't touch me. And then she decided that maybe she'll stick around and be more of a pain in the butt to them. And they're like, but we're on high alert. And she didn't care. So Max radios Alonzo, who's in the security room, and he lets him know that the chief of white staff is wandering and she's hammered. And he says she's going towards the Grand Hall or something like that, and you know why she can't go there. He said, I got it, copy, and he went to take care of it and meet her. So now we in the kitchen, and Priscilla is making Hunter a sandwich. And she was supposed to be making him that sandwich last week. They mixed these scenes up some kind of way, but anywho, I do pay attention. I know just like the rest of y'all. Anyway, they end up talking about what Victoria did to him. They talk about Jason. And she's like, why are you telling me all of this? He says, so you will understand what I'm going through. And somehow she gets Hunter to admit that Jason killed Jean. And he's told her, he first asked her, did she have a wire on? And she was like, please, even if I did, with all the signals around here, it wouldn't work. And then he tells her that Victoria covered it up. And then he asked her about Donald, and that's when she ended up telling that Donald is gay and that Kyle is his lover. And Hunter could not believe it. He was like, are you for real? She's like, yeah. And he was like, but he has that smoking wife with the nice rack. He was like, that poor rack is going to waste. I said, all he cares about is women and their body parts. So anyway, Priscilla offered to help him some kind of way. She said, what can I do? And he said he wanted to talk to Donald. So she said she'll see if she could talk to him and get him to come upstairs. She said, but you can't keep him. He said, no, I just want to talk and see what's going on. Because she did tell him he was too busy kissing Eli's behind. So anyway, she told him to go eat and take his sandwich. And he's like, what about my son? She said, I'm not making nothing for your son. I am not serving him. She said, give him half of yours. And he's like, you going to leave already? This nice smooth countertop and stuff. He trying to get her to get on that countertop so they could have sex. And she told him, this is going to get on my nerves. And he said, that's the whole point. I want to wear you down, tire you out, maybe tie you up. And she said, what? And then decapitate me? He said, if that's what you're into. I know a guy, talking about Jason. I was like, oh my God. So she told him to leave with his sandwich. And he said, let me go see if my son has a sword to cut this with. And when he left out, she's like, oh, I hate him. So we know Priscilla really is not into or even thinking about close to sleeping with Hunter. So now we see Richard in this room with pots and pans. And Sam comes in there to check on him. And he tells Sam that Nancy took all the money out of their accounts and that she burnt up all his clothes. And Sam said, that's that Priscilla is she on. And then she said, but Richard, she's angry and she's grieving. And Richard is like, I don't care. I'm grieving too. Shit, He said, but we men, we do things differently. And he was like, no. He said, no, Richard ain't trying to hear it. He considering killing Nancy. And Sam is like, no, you won't. He said, I did it to my father. He said, no, you're not going to do that. So then he sees a video that Nancy sent him and he shows it to Sam and she done tore the house up. She tore the house up. She burnt up the picture with Richard and Barry in it. She burned up his medals and his uniform from the military. She just going crazy. So Sam took the phone from him and said, don't look at it no more and calm down. Just calm down. And he was pissed. So now we see Alonzo. He done caught up with Mrs. Winthrop, the chief of staff's wife. And he's trying to get her to go back to wherever, telling her she can't be in that area. She's giving him a hard way to go. Then she lies and says she's here to see Victoria. And Victoria happened to come out there and say, no, she's not. And they go back and forth with some messiness about her dresses and how she uses cheap fabric and all of this stuff, So Alonzo finally gets Mrs. Winthrop to walk away. And then Victoria decides she's going to go upstairs. And he said, you can't go up either, Mrs. Franklin. And so she's like, yes, I am. I'm going up there. No, you're not. So he blocks her and then calls Max. Max is talking to him. Sam is with him and over here. Sam said, I'll go down there and take care of it. Sam gets down there And he handles Miss Franklin, and he tells Alonzo to go get Miss Winthrop. And she's like, "Oh, you gonna handle me now?" She said, "I want to go upstairs." He said, "No, if you go up there, they're gonna kill you." And she's like, "They wouldn't dare." He's like, "Wasn't you just hanging in the oval?" I said, "Ain't that right?" That's why she got in that high neck dress so nobody could see the hang marks on her neck. And she was like, "I just need to talk to him. Can you get me a line up to him?" He said, "No, all the lines are cut off." So she said he needs his medication. And he's like, "Excuse me?" "Yeah," because he starts acting up, and she's telling how she slips it into his Coke and it helps him calm down and all this stuff, and how he OD'd and blah, blah, blah. And she's sitting there telling Sam all of that, and all she want to do is give him some more of that stuff so he can't never walk again. But she's way too late, because Donald know what she was doing, and he ain't about to take no drugs from her or anybody else up in there. So as Sam is telling Victoria he wouldn't advise her to go up there, Priscilla comes down the stairs. And she's like, "Hello, Victoria." And Victoria's like, "How do you get to just walk up there?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm just helping out." So Victoria asks, "What is he saying?" She said, "Oh, I will be giving a full report to the president." She said, "And I asked you," she said, "and I told you I'll be giving a full report to the president." She said, "Well, I'm coming too." She said, "Okay, you're more than welcome to follow me." And Victoria said, "I don't follow people." She said, "Oh, yes, you do. What about Sam? Like you followed behind my leftovers or whatever it is." But then the next thing you know, Victoria went and followed right behind Priscilla. So now we see Donald and Eli in the Oval, and Max comes in and said, "Priscilla's here to see you." So he said, "Let her in." And then here come Victoria rushing through the door and stuff. And then Priscilla walks in. So Eli asks her, "What's going on with Hunter? What's he saying?" She said, "Well, he's not saying much, sir. All I know is he wants to take back the Oval, and he's walking." So Eli said, "How did that happen?" She's like, "Apparently he's being drugged by his wife." Victoria trying to act all innocent. She said, "Girl, you can stand there looking dumb if you want. He already know what you've been doing." And Victoria's like, "You need to show me respect, biatch." And she's like, "No, I don't." And then Donald goes, "Ladies, please." And Victoria turns around and said, "Yes, lady." I said, "See, but I don't like how they keep saying ladies, please." You see Victoria's instigating and starting all of this mess, and Priscilla's trying to be professional. You should have just said, "Victoria, please," because she's the one who's starting the mess. But at least Eli turned around and looked at her and said, "Look, we're trying to solve this mess, all right?" And she's like, "Okay, fine." He know Victoria's the troublemaker. So Priscilla tells them that Hunter doesn't trust Donald and that he wants him to come upstairs. And Donald's like, "Oh, hell no." And Victoria's like, "We all know this biatch is scared." And Eli's like, "Victoria, please," with all the name calling. And then Donald started thinking about it, and he said, "Yeah, I'll go upstairs." And Victoria says, "Will your girlfriend Kyle let you go?" And Eli said, "Give it a rest, Victoria." And she's like, "What?" He said, "You need to leave. Get out. You need to leave right now." And Priscilla was standing there smirking, trying to hold in a laugh. And Victoria's like, "What did you say to me?" He said, "You heard me. Get out. Get out now. I got enough stress to deal with without dealing with your ish, and I'm not putting up with it." And she was like, "Eli, you talking to me like this?" "Yes, get out." I was like, "Oh, snap." So he said, "Either you shut up or you leave right now. It's your choice." She's like, "You're going to regret it." He said, "I'm going to regret it soon as you leave." And I was like, "Finally, Eli, you shut her down." I was so sick of Victoria and him allowing her to get away with mouthing off. You didn't allow your wife to do it, so why are you going to let your side piece do it? So as soon as she leaves, Priscilla goes, "Woo, thank you." And Eli said, "Don't start." And she's like, "I'm sorry." I said, "See, Priscilla, you need to check your messy self as well." So Donald and Priscilla, they leave out of the Oval, and Kyle and Max are out there, and they're like, "Going somewhere?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm going upstairs." And Kyle's like, "Oh, okay, let's go." Priscilla said, "You're not going." He said, "Why not?" She said, "He only wants to see him." And he's like, "I'm not going to let him go up there." She said, "Well, you don't have any choice." So Donald tries to talk to Kyle and say, "I'll be fine." And he's like, "No, you won't. I'm not going to let you go." He said, "Stop making a spectacle. You know how much I hate that." And meanwhile, Max and Priscilla over there smirking and stuff, trying not to laugh with this little lovers quarrel thing going on and stuff. So he tells him to stand down and that he got this. And so Priscilla says, "Sir, we need to go now." He said, "Yeah, okay." And they leave. And so Max is looking at Kyle like, "Aw, worry about your boo-boo." sorry, y'all, I'm laughing. He said, where about your boo boo? He said, go to hell. He said, can I ride there with you? And Kyle said, F off. So then the episode ends at Nancy and Richard's house. And Dale and Sharon trying to clean up the mess, and Nancy don't want them to clean it up. She said, then let's go upstairs for a nap. Do I look like I need a nap? All of a sudden, Richard comes home. He sees them. He slams the door, and he runs at Nancy and starts choking her to death. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't even get mad at him. I know he was wrong for stabbing his daddy. I know he shouldn't have been treating her the way, but doggone it, she spent up all his money, his life savings and everything he worked so hard for, burning up his damn uniform and medals and stuff. I'd have choked her out too. I'm sorry, y'all. I would have choked her out too. So anyway, that's how this episode ended. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I mean, that was the only good parts. The ending part was, it really wasn't all of that. But I did get some good laughs out of this episode. Maybe I'm crazy or something, but it was a fun episode to me because I laughed a lot throughout this thing, trying to hold back the silliness and the stupidness of it all. Anyway, y'all put it down in the comment section what y'all think, and I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Subscribe to my channel, like the video, write a comment, and give me your 2 cents about the show, and share because sharing is caring, and you know you want to help a sister's channel grow. Peace.